live at 5. Educating. Empowering. Entertaining. We are the top 5.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the top 5. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello. Hello, and happy Sunday. Happy Sunday, everybody.
Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. First, we'd like you guys to like and share. Like and share. Share the program. Share the program with your friends. Tag your friends. Tag your family members. Tag your sister. Tag your brother. Tag everyone. Auntie, your cousins.
Uncle.
And let them know that we have a jam-packed show here today. We have great discussions and we have everything all set for you. So come back, tag yourself and come back and right in the bottom say I share. And I want you also to put where you are from. So if you're from Grenada, my flag is hiding somewhere, so I have.
I can rep to you.
Yes, put your.
Or if you're from Africa,
please post your flag. Please post your flag. Let us know where you are looking at, watching us from, where you are from. We want to have a good conversation with you. I am from Grenada. So let me just introduce myself. I am Humberland Marshall, and I am from the beautiful island of Grenada. Corinth, St. David's to be exact. So if you know anyone from Corinth, tag them and call them and say, hey, listen, Hermelin is on top 5. Let's go see what she's talking about. So, and I am the founder of the Caribbean American Survivors Empowerment Group. And that's who I am. So let us know who you are, where you're from. And we have a great show for you today, ladies. Great show. Very great show. So we have domestic violence.
Something just switched there. Take a moment and switch it back because you're
if you're joining us, like and share and put purple or pink.
In Canada, we have Trinidad in the house.
There's Hermie.
Yes, sorry, I'm back. I got kicked out for like a moment. That's what happened when we go in live. So guys, just forgive us for that. So as I was saying, we have a great show for you guys. As you know, October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month and as well as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We're going to talk all about COVID-19 and the president. Is it a cover-up or is it carelessness? So we want to dive into that. So we're going to just shoot right into the show. And we are going to just talk about what's going on in our world. So, Colin, shoot it. What's going on in your world?
Definitely. Happy October for everyone. Happy Sunday. Lovely to see all my Grenadian massive. Hello, everyone from New Hampshire. And what's happening in my world? I'm really happy to say that October is one of my favorite months because I get to acknowledge and bring some type of awareness to the month of breast cancer. So bringing awareness to breast cancer. And I have been researching, and it says that 40% of diagnosed breast cancer are detected by women who feel a lump in their breasts. So what we are encouraging you women to do is to not be afraid. When you're in the shower, you're laying down, to do your own self-examination. And if you're not comfortable with that, you can go to your doctor. There's also a website you ladies can look into. It's called the National Breast Cancer Foundation. And what it does, it shows you the ways, the steps that you can do your own self-examination. So we want all of you to stay healthy. We want you guys to be here with us for a very long time. So we definitely want to encourage you guys to go out, get your exams, do it yourself while in the shower. Don't be afraid. As my aunt say, don't be afraid to touch your tits.
and you know, Hermie, Colleen, what we call it in the Caribbean, we say tits. Right. For those that are my friends, my American friends, or my friends from across the pond, we would say touch your titty. So don't be afraid to touch your titty.
Don't be afraid. Exactly. It belongs to you. It's all yours. All of that. It's yours. Right. So we definitely want to bring that awareness to you that this month, the whole of October, Breast Cancer Month.
One thing I'd like for those who are you know, a little afraid of touching their own boobs or feeling weird about doing that, get your husband or your boyfriend to do it. I'm sure he'll do it.
Definitely.
I absolutely agree. I agree.
If he finds something, he's gonna know what they feel like. Yes.
Especially if he's been around them for a long time, chances are he'll be able to say, but wait a minute, honey, something feels different. Right. Because he or she is familiar with what they do in their body.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Whenever you feel comfortable with touching your tits, let them touch it to figure out if something's happening.
And you might even enjoy the process a little bit more than if you're doing it yourself.
Yeah.
It's a win-win.
Win-win.
Yes. Okay, so Lily, before we move on to our big discussion with COVID-19 and the president, I want you guys to stay tuned because we have a domestic awareness survivor. Rachel Charles will be coming on later to share her domestic survivor story with us. So stay tuned. She's going to be speaking from a part of, you know, empowerment. So we are here to empower and educate. So she's going to share her story with us and give us some tips on how to get out of a relationship safely. So guys, let's dive into the COVID-19.
Before we dive in, I just want to acknowledge our co-host today who is not here, the one and only, the fabulous Miss Victoria Virgo. We miss her dearly. Yes. She's under the weather a little bit, so we're going to try to hold it down and make you proud, Victoria. I know you're watching, so Victoria will join us again next week. So to all the Victoria fans that are watching, you can type in the comments and send Victoria some good vibes, and she'll be reading them. So just type for the Jamaican Grenadian Victoria, so she can get some good vibes.
Yes, feel better, Mama.
Yeah.
All righty then. So Victoria, you are missed. So let's dive into that conversation, guys. So is it carelessness or is it a cover-up? What do you guys think? I want to hear.
Should we dive or jump? I feel like we should jump into this.
Let's just jump into this conversation because I have a lot to say about this part. But hey, Colleen, someone just jump in here and tell us.
How do you say it's a hoax?
You think it's a hoax, Colleen?
Listen, if everything is a hoax, then why shouldn't this be a hoax? It's a hoax, but I believe he has it. Because you know what? I've been looking at him very carefully when he was making a fool of himself in that debate. And he was holding on to that podium for dear life for support. And I guess if that debate had to go an hour in, we probably would have seen something happening to that man. But I think he has it. I really do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. I'm out on it still. I'm still trying to figure out if you know, because to me, the president, Mr. Trump, he has the classic signs of a narcissist: self-centered, manipulating, demanding, aggressive, egotistic. He uses words to confuse. To me, I feel confused. Like, is it a hoax? Is it not a hoax? Should I still continue wearing my mask? Should I not compare? Wear my mask? And just 1 minute, and and it's like he gives you this information, and it's like I'm feeling confused with reality versus truth. And then he used the victim part for us to feel sorry for him. So I'm feeling like he gave us all this information. Now he's using that victim part, like, hey, now I have COVID, so we're gonna feel sorry for him. And then does that equals more votes? So I don't know if he's playing a game or if it's the truth. I'm confused. I'm not gonna lie.
For those of you that are joining us, we're talking about whether the president's illness is made up or if it is true. And I'm curious to see what our viewers think about the president. Like, does he have COVID? Or if he has COVID, is it strategy for the elections? I'm curious to see what our viewers think. In the same breath, though, guys, I do want to wish the First family a safe recovery. I know it's controversial. I know it is, but I still want to, because it seems like the entire White House has COVID. I mean, so far, I think we're at what, 25? Chris Christie out of New Jersey. It's like everybody's coming down. So I do want to wish them. I do want to wish them a speedy recovery.
Okay, Landy, let's hear from you.
Well, I had already decided I was going to be quiet about this because I've gotten to a point where I just feel very disappointed on the way that things have gone over the last 4 years, and I'm getting weak in the ears of all the nonsense, to the point where it's just like I just shut it out. When if you have a child or you let down a baby or somebody all the time, and then after a while, like if they're left alone, nobody cares about them, and then the person comes back, and after a while, it's like, who cares? Like, you just don't have any feeling tired. I just want to get to November 3rd. I just want to know what happens on that day. That is my biggest concern. I didn't watch the news. I have not been following closely with all the bits and pieces and the daily updates. Like, today, they took his oxygen saturation and it was 93. And yesterday he was feeling worse. And I don't want to hear anymore. I've tuned it out because I do feel that at this point, I feel so distrustful of the administration that that everything is questionable. And I don't have time to focus on their questions. I have a business to run. I have a family to deal with. I have things that I have to deal with. And diving into all that stuff gives me anxiety and it makes me angry. Like, I'll end up cursing at the TV or yelling and stuff. So I just kind of stay away from it. I'm tired of hearing about COVID. I'm tired of hearing about Trump. I just want it to be all over. I want November 3rd to come. All I can say is, everybody, please do your part. That's all I have to say. I'm done.
One of the things I want that family to acknowledge while they're going through that, I want them to think about all the families that they failed to acknowledge, all the people who lost kids, who lost, just their partners, their husbands, their wives in a very short time because of COVID. And you've never heard the president come on and say, what, my heart goes out to the families, my heart goes out to your son, come on. So I really want them to reflect on that. I want them to feel a little bit of how the other families are feeling. The 209,000, the number probably has changed, but I really want them to acknowledge that and get a sense of what these people are going through before they do anything else.
So I guess what I'm hearing is, had the president come out during the time when everybody was falling ill, our sentiments would certainly be a little bit different. Is that what I'm understanding? Like, he should have acknowledged those families that lost. He should have acknowledged that COVID is a real thing. He should have been wearing his mask. Absolutely. So had he done all of this, you're saying, then we would be expressing a little bit more sympathy for him.
Just a little bit,
yeah, just a little bit.
President, you're supposed to do that, even if you weren't the president, and you have some type of forum where you can go out and express that. Like, people are losing their families left, right, and center. Schools are closing down, and this man is not really taking the time to acknowledge these families. They're battling. People are losing their homes, not even dying. People are losing their homes. They're wondering how they're going to pay their bills. Things are happening, and you are supposed to bring some type of comfort. some type of awareness, like, hey, I see you, I understand, and I'm going to do the very best that I can. But you are just parading around, like giving high fives and doing all these things while people are suffering. And for me, like, yeah, I don't really want anything really bad to happen, but I just want him to feel what other families are feeling.
Yeah. Also, I agree with Landy's. Like, I am very worried and concerned about my family and the state of affairs. Like, I'm thinking, I'm an overthinker, so I'm thinking way in advance. Like, what if he doesn't win with him saying stand by and stand back? I'm saying, are we prepared? Are we prepared with guns? Are we prepared with basic necessities? You know, our community, like, I don't know how to shoot a gun. I don't know how to protect myself if something happens in the country. So I'm thinking really off the other ledge of things that could happen. So I'm thinking, how, you know, in our community, in our Black community, how can we stay prepared? What should we do to stay prepared in case something happens?
I have a couple tips on that. And I feel I'm an overthinker like you, Hermelyn, because I'm thinking about, do I have to be prepared? Do I have to carry like a knife in my purse? Like what do I have to do? But all I can say is that taking weapons and all of that out of the picture, the best thing you can do, or the best thing that I've done, is making sure that I try and take care of my health and make sure that the health of my family members are up to par. Because at the end of the day, we know that, I know in the New York area, when we go into the hospitals in the Black communities, we are not getting the same care that another person who is white or of another persuasion will get. We already know that we're set up to get substandard care. So you have to take care of your health. There's one thing that I can say that's super, super important. Take vitamin D. A lot of it, maybe 6,000 to 10,000 units a day. There's studies out there that's been good for COVID. Take your vitamin C. Take vitamin, iron, whatever you have to do, work out and get your body fit. We don't know if we're going to fight war, because remember, the Proud Boys are standing by. Okay? Don't forget
and
that.
I agree with the both of you, Hermie and Landy. I definitely agree with you about taking care of our health. And I started eating better and exercising more and even changing my diet overall since COVID. And I've done the same like you, Landy, with my family. What I've also done is made my way over to Mr. Shooter's World and purchased my firearm. I've had my firearm license for years, so I'm very comfortable. And you best believe it's next to my nightstand. So you're not going to come into my home and take my toilet paper. And we're saying it in a joke kind of way right now, right? But I think our community, we need to arm ourselves, just like how we're taking care of our bodies, just like how we're taking care of our health. We have to take care of our safety. We really do have to take care of our safety, because like Amanda said, the Proud Boys are standing by.
Absolutely right.
Yes, I agree, because like right now, a small town in Texas right here, the water is contaminated and they're having this brain-eating bacteria, and a couple of people already died from it. So that brain, as Landy said, that just rose my anxiety, because I'm like, so no, in my pantry, we have stocks and stocks and stocks and stocks of water. Just what is in Texas, in a small town, like what if they start contaminating our water? So I am, as much as I care about the president with COVID, I care about our community and what we are doing to protect ourselves. And as Landy say with health, as Fundy say with arming yourself, I really think we need not to be too laughy and jokey about the situation, but start taking it seriously. Do not wait until we're in a crisis to make plans.
Yeah. And the other thing is, for people who are getting those stimulus checks and extra money, or if you have extra money that's coming to you, what you're working for, whatever, make sure you save, because you don't know what is coming next. You gotta have that savings.
That's what they need to do. They need to send people checks. Think about it. $1,200 stimulus. Think about the families who have received that and now it's just trying to figure out, like, my last penny. What am I going to do with that?
Mhm.
And also, I want our community to not be reliant on the government. I think now is a ripe time to start developing your own business, sourcing with each other. For example, if I know, Landy, you have a business, I should be spending my black dollars with Landy. If you can bake in our community, start bake and selling cakes. If you can design flowers, start designing flowers. Everybody's home, they want their houses to start looking a little bit better. I just saw a young lady, she developed a business where she's making coasters. Because we're home, we want the house to look. So start being independent. I hate relying on the government, because if we rely on the government, all we're getting is a check for $1,200. That's it. And that $1,200 will keep you evicted. That $1,200 is going to mean you cannot support your family. You cannot support your family. And that check was what, 6 months ago? How long ago?
Months ago.
How much?
$1,200.
$1,200, but it was a while back, right?
Yeah, that was a while.
March,
like a while back.
See, I don't believe in those socialist programs. I really think as a community, we're strong. We can rely on each other. There was a Black Wall Street where we're smart, we're intelligent. We can rely on each other and save our communities, not rely on the government for their handout, because we're going to be waiting in vain.
But then,
okay, ladies, let's see what the audience says.
Tax dollars, remember that. So they owe you.
So and Lydia said she makes vases. See, Lydia, you need to send me your link so we can order vases from you. Whatever you sell, share it within our community, and let's support each other and make little millionaires out of the rest of us.
Of course.
Yes. So definitely. So I just wanted to see if the audience was saying anything else that we need to just touch based on and see what's going on there. So
and for those in the audience that are watching, if you have a small business you'd like to advertise with us, now is the time, because this platform reaches a lot of individuals. So if you make vases, you can advertise on our show. If you make whatever you make, you can spend your advertising dollars here on Right Along. That was a public service announcement, guys.
Yes, let's start working together and supporting each other in our own community. So guys, we have a couple more minutes. So what do you guys thought about the debate itself?
Oh Lord.
Well, I mean the I can't say what I want to say. The show, the S show,
the shit show.
Yes, accusation. Okay,
call it as it is, and it was totally a shit show.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yes. I was so embarrassed.
Too much. Like I was getting a bit frustrated, because I feel like everybody was able to hear the nonsense Trump wanted to say, but then he was preventing Biden from saying what he wanted to say. And I'm just like, okay, we get it, but my breaking point was, he said, the college you went to, you probably was at the bottom of your class. I said, okay,
that was it.
Done. I'm done. Like, who does that? You're fighting to state your case. You're fighting for us to see or hear what your plans are for the next 4 years. We're not trying to hear you insulting anyone.
Yeah.
SHIT yourself. Okay.
But that's the president's, that's his motto, though. That's what he lives by. And I'm curious to see what you ladies think. Like, did we send the right candidate to go fight the president? You know, should it have been a Kamala Harris up there? Should it have been one of our more charismatic people up there that, you know, because Trump is a bully. He's bullied Hillary Clinton, and now he's bullying
Joe
Biden. And I think, God bless Joe Biden, but I don't think he have the wherewithal to fight Trump on the same, because Trump is like a pig. Trump is like a pig. He drives you into the mud, and you cannot fight with a pig in the mud, because the pig enjoys the fight.
Well, is that Biden has been known to have a very quick mouth himself, and I feel that he's exercising a whole lot of restraint in trying not to lose his cool, because if he does, the first thing they're going to say, oh, you know, problem, he has dementia, he has this and that. And I didn't watch the debates, but I did hear that at certain points he would just smile and laugh. And a lot of times when people do that, because I know somebody, my significant other has a habit of doing that, when he's really, really upset, instead of like, I'll curse and scream, he'll start humming and laughing. And I know that I've really like pressed his buttons big time right?
Mhm.
So it could be like a defense mechanism, like, you know what, instead of like, I really want to tell this guy where to go and I want to punch him in the face and then throat. But instead of doing that, he'll smile and he'll laugh it off, and it makes him seem like he's very like soft.
Mhm.
But Joe Biden that I knew of, or that I got to know when Obama was president, was not a soft guy. And in fact, Obama used to always kind of push him back and not want him to speak up, because he would have a way of saying things like, just like, he just, you know, call somebody an asshole or say something.
Or he cursed.
appropriate.
And he
Well,
slipped a couple times. He did slip
Yeah,
a
he cursed a few times.
a couple times. He
Remember
did.
that
slip.
after that debate, he was like, "Yeah, we did that."
Yeah, ladies, I don't know. I think something is going on with Biden himself. He was forgetting stuff. I really think he probably does have a first level of dementia. He's not the strongest candidate for the Democratic Party. I think they made a mistake. He was really soft. I don't care. Oh, that Trump is a bully. He should have come back a little bit, you know, and defend us and really talk on our behalf. I think he just gave Tom too much airtime and answering his question, and he didn't fight back and like no, like I need to say this or I need to say that. I think we chose the wrong candidate. I personally think so.
I agree with Mo when the president went after candidate Biden's son. I thought that was a low blow. That was so dirty. That was so dirty on all levels. And he did show a lot of control. But you know, when it's all said and done, I am not excited about either candidate, because when we think about it, we have two middle-aged old white men that we're choosing from in a country that is so diverse. This is the best we can put up. Two middle-aged old white men who is so close to the end of their careers. Yeah. And that's who we're choosing to lead a diverse world with everything we have going on. We have immigration problems. We have a pandemic. And our choices, I'm not excited about either choice. I'm just going to be quite frank.
And you know,
yes, exactly.
As Mo was saying when he talked on Hunter, it just goes to show you he has no kind of loyalty to the armed forces.
None.
Like, these people protect us. And here you go calling them cowards, calling them stupid because they get caught, they got hurt. None of your kids, including yourself, has ever served in the military. So you should be giving this man all the honor necessary and humbling yourself at least for a minute to say, you know what, at the end of the day, we're here, you know, talking on different points, but I want to acknowledge your son for the service that he has given to this country. And that just tells you the measure of this man's character. The ruler needs to stop at point 1 for him.
Yeah. The other thing that I saw, and I don't know how true this is, but I had seen that they were saying that Biden was going to take down some of his more aggressive ads against Trump for the mere fact that he's going through COVID right now. And I saw this on Facebook, and I thought to myself, that's a gentleman type thing to do, but this is war. At this point in time, maybe you're not going to start digging him, you know, exactly in the COVID part, but somehow you got to be getting, you can't let down, because anytime if Biden were to fall off on any little thing, you better believe that Trump's campaign is going to jump in and take all opportunity to cut him down like a slice of pork. So he needs to not just be conceding and being sorry and, the president. There's no time for feeling sorry.
And I know we have to wrap up because this month is all about women and not about these two old men, these two old white men. But does it make him seem weak when he removed his negative ads, or is that classy? Does he get points for being classy, or is that a weak leader?
I think
it goes on both sides. From what I saw is that the Facebook post, it was going like a 50, 40, 60. A lot of people think that was a very classy thing to do, very respectful thing to do, because he is going through the sickness. Whether he's lying or not, that's for God and Trump to know. But he's a gentleman, and I guess he wants to show that this is who he is, and he's not going to dig people in their sore foot.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Thank you, guys.
On that note.
Yeah, on that note, thank you, guys. We could talk. I know we could talk for 2 hours on this topic, but we have to respect Rachel is here, so we want to bring her in after the commercial break. But before we leave, I want to say, guys, let us mind our business. Continue wearing our mask. Wash your hands frequently. Avoid crowded space. Walk with your hand sanitizer. Practice social distancing. Sorry. Take care of yourself. Be your own advocate. Get your guns, get your water ready.
Toilet paper.
So we'll be back. We'll take a little break and we will be coming back with Rachel Charles, and Rachel will be sharing her story with us.
All right.
Hey, I got some good news for you. Looking for a passionate immigration lawyer with experience that spans over 2 decades? Someone trusted that served immigrant families just like yours? Well, look no more. Now you can benefit from her personal and professional experience. Diane Winter Funday. Schedule a consultation now and get assistance with your immigration journey. Specialize in adjustment of status, B1 business visa, B2 visitors visa, consular processing, deportation defense, naturalization, and more. Give us a call today at 813-815-3529. That's 813-815-3529 or online at winterimmigration.com. Attorney Diane Winter Funday. Law done differently.
Hi guys, we are back and we are bringing in Rachel Charles to speak to Funday and I. And Rachel is going to talk about her domestic abuse survivor story. This is going to be great. Rachel is joining us from England. So this is nighttime in England. So we really appreciate Rachel for staying up and joining us. So we would like to welcome Rachel to Top 5. Okay, Rachel is coming on soon.
Hello.
And, she is. Oh, hi, there she is. Hi, Rachel. Thank you so much for joining us today. I know it's after 10 in England.
I'm a night owl, so that's fine.
So, as I said, Rachel is a domestic advocate, just as myself. She's a coach. She is the founder of her group, Spread Your Wings, Own Your Wings. Own Your Wings. And Funday and I are going to talk to Rachel. I'm going to let Funday introduce herself to you, Rachel, so you will know who you are talking with.
Hello, Rachel. I feel like I've met you because I was watching you earlier this week with Dr. Z.
Oh yeah.
And I was the one that read your thing in the back that says "Own Your Wings," and I'm stealing that line just so
yes.
you know. I thought that was such a beautiful story. I started my career as a domestic violence advocate where I would accompany women to court. And Rachel, let me tell you, I am so proud of women like yourselves that tell their story, because I think a lot of us, me included, we don't want to talk about it. Like it is something that we hide or we keep it close to the vest. So I must commend you personally, Hermelyn, and all the other women that empower other women by sharing their story. So I'll start up by saying, just tell us a little bit about yourself and walk us through your experience. And for those women that are watching or those men that are watching, it is Domestic Violence Month, and that is why we have the beautiful, the gorgeous Rachel Charles here with us to help share her story.
Thanks for having me on. You are right. It takes a lot to talk about. So I'll say who I am for now. I'm Rachel Charles. I call myself the Freedom Coach because I guide women to freedom from a life that is prescribed into a life that they can design. A little bit about my background. I was born in England. When I was 10, my parents moved to Grenada, and I spent the best 10 years of my life there and then decided to come back here. So if my accent switches between Grenadian and English, don't be surprised. So when I came back to the UK, I was about, well, a few years after I came back was when I landed into my relationship. I had been here for probably about 2 years and it wasn't working out the way I thought it was going to. I always thought, yeah, I'd come back to England, it'll be great. I was working, I was studying, but it just wasn't what I thought it was going to be. And I was on the verge of thinking, should I go back to Grenada? Maybe I've made a mistake. Maybe I came back too soon. And then I met him. He was lovely, charming. And what really got me was the accent. So he was also from the Caribbean, and it was just like, oh, kindred spirit, somebody that I could relate to. I no longer felt alone. So we hit it off straight away, and the relationship moved fast, but it moved very fast. There were lots of red flags from the beginning, but I literally was painting those red flags green. I would see certain things and I would think, no, this guy, he had 2 children, he'd been married before, and I thought, maybe it's me. Because my last relationship, I was a teenager. So, this is my first attempt at an adult relationship. Maybe I need to keep up because, like I said, it was moving fast. And I thought, no, I'm not really comfortable with this. And instead of slowing it down, I thought maybe I need to speed it up, even though, I wasn't that comfortable with it.
Rachel, I don't want to stop you, but you said you saw red flags. What were some of those red flags that you saw, especially for our audience, if somebody's listening and they're in a relationship? And what are some of those red flags that you saw?
So this was right from the beginning. So the major red flag, one of the main red flags that I saw right at the beginning was we met. And we had spent some time that evening just talking and things like that. And I got my bus and went home. And I never heard from him. I texted to say, oh, I got home. It was a lovely evening. I didn't hear from him. And a few days later, I was talking to a friend of mine at work. And I said, I met this guy. He's so cute. Blah, blah, blah. But he hasn't called me. And she was like, so call him. And I was like, no, I'm not going to call him. I'm not going to call him. But then afterwards I did. So this was like the Wednesday of the week. And I even had to say, I'm that girl you met. So I'm thinking, why was I so desperate? But, he asked me out that weekend. And so for me, that was one of those moments where, now when you look back, it's like, if it got to Wednesday and he hadn't called and he's invited me out, I've just made myself available, which I should not have done. So one of the major things that happened was we went out that weekend. And this was one of the red flags was he said, let's go out. And I can't remember if it was his card wasn't working or he hadn't got paid properly. And so I ended up paying for the meal. Now, for me, that wasn't a big thing because I thought, I'm a 90s woman and I'm not afraid to pay my way, but I looked back and I just thought, if you're inviting somebody out, was there a little bit of protocol? Should you have kind of, done it the right way? But I thought I didn't want to be that gold digger kind of type. So I thought, no, it's fine. So, like the second time he paid and it was fine. But financial abuse was something that was constant throughout the relationship. So throughout the relationship, even when we were living together, I was responsible for probably about 90% of everything that took place and kept the household running. So that was a major red flag. One of the others I'd say is when we were just chatting, he had 2 children. And I remember this was during the early days when we were talking. And one day he was at home. I said, oh, what are you up to today? And he said, oh, I'm babysitting. And I was just like, babysitting? Who are you babysitting? And it was his children. I said, you can't babysit your kids. Yeah, but, I'm at home. They're babies. It was like, no, come on. Like, you can't do that. And although that was something, I kind of put it down to man speak. And I thought maybe, lighten up a bit, Rachel. But that was kind of like a foresight of what it was going to be in terms of somebody who did not take responsibility and did not see certain things as being his responsibility. Because when we had kids and going forward, I remember when I said, can you help with this or can you do this?
So you ended up having children together.
Oh, yeah. 2. Oh, yes, 2 lovely boys. But one of the things was, oh, no, they don't need a dad right now. They need a mom. So you do what you need to do. I'll come in when I need to. So, yeah, major flags.
Thank you, Rachel. Rachel, thank you so much for sharing that part of your story. what was the turning point for you? What was the motivation for you to just walk away from this relationship? You know, how long did you stay in that relationship, by the way?
I knew him for 19 and a half years, but the relationship went on for about 18 years. So there was an 18-month breakup. During that time, there was gaslighting. There was a lot of emotional abuse. There was a little bit of physical abuse, just enough so that I could remember it. It was memorable, and it just kept me there out of fear. I'd say that my turning point was, the only way I could explain it was, it's like, you know, I took and took and took until I could literally take no more. So it's like a bucket under a dripping tap, and it was drip, 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 drip. And eventually it's going to reach the top and overflow. And that was it. So my 18 years was that bucket, and I just couldn't take any more. And one of the things that got me was there was an argument that happened, and I stood there, and it was kind of like the veil just lifted. And I thought, this is a child that I'm dealing with. I don't have to do this anymore. And then I looked at and some of the things that were being said were really hurtful, really childish, you know, like, that's where you sit on there getting fat, silly little things like that. And I just thought, this is just stupid. And I saw my son crying. And I thought, I'm done, because I felt that I could deal with it myself. And I felt that I had tried to shield them from a lot of it. But I also felt that I was not showing them what a healthy relationship was, or what to do when it wasn't working. And I stood there and I thought, I'm basically telling them that they could get to an age where they could say whatever it is they wanted to a woman, and she can take it. And even if the relationship didn't work, I needed them to know that if they were in a relationship and things were not happening the way it needed to, they could walk away. And I thought, I'm not showing them either one of those, whether a healthy relationship or to be happy on your own. I wasn't doing it.
And Rachel, another question that I have is, a lot of people just feel domestic abuse is physical. Explain to the audience an example of a narcissist, like what they would expect from a narcissist in an emotionally abusive relationship.
The majority of mine was emotional. So I didn't even know I was being abused until, you know, I realized, I found the word narcissist and looked it up. If you're in that type of a relationship, you slowly go into it, because you will think you're mad. You know, you will say, hold on, but you said blah, blah, blah. And they'll be like, no, I didn't say that. And you know full well that they said it. So for example, there was one thing that happened. I was helping him with something, and he rang me and said, oh, could you do blah, blah, blah for me? And I said, give me a minute. I said, you know, I just got home. I'll do it in a couple of hours. Before the words could come out of my mouth, he said, oh, okay, so you're at work and you're too busy. I know you can't do it. I said, hold on a minute. I just said, I'm at home. I'll do it in a couple of hours because I'm just doing this. And he said, no, that's not what you said. And I'm sitting there like, am I crazy? However, I had my son next to me, and I knew it was going to be a quick conversation. So I had it on speakerphone, and we're both looking at each other like, which one of us is crazy? And if I didn't have him next to me, I would have been questioning myself, because I would have been sitting there like, I know that's not what I said, but he was adamant that I had said I was at work. And I'm like, how can I say I'm at work? And it wasn't until I said, dude, my son's sitting here, he's heard it. And then the conversation just quelled, and I just thought, you know, so a lot of the things that would happen, you would question your sanity. You know, you might be starting to be isolated from family members. They will keep you away. They would tell you certain things about people, or, you know, they're not supportive of you and keep you away. And you think to yourself, okay, this is the person that I love, you know, although he's not treating me 100%, at least he's the only person I have. So let me just stay here and make this work.
Wow. And for those of you that are joining us in honor of Domestic Violence Month, we're sitting here with Miss Rachel Charles. She's sharing her story about the emotional abuse she went through. And I see Dane Henry, a good friend of mine, she's saying, yes, she painted the red flag screen. I love that statement, Rachel. And in addition, Dane said, oh, yes, they make you feel as if you are crazy. Rachel, tell us, like, what can you share share with our audience about your support system? Because I know for a lot of victims of domestic violence, there's isolation. It's where they're isolated from family and friends. I don't want my friends to come over because it upsets the apple cart. So you're isolated. Did you confide in anyone, and how was your support system, Rachel?
I didn't really speak to anybody. I have some really good friends. I call them my body barriers. It's probably not the best term.
You have some fun. You have some sayings, body.
They're the body barriers. It's like
I am just over here busy taking notes. What is a body barrier?
The body barrier is, and this is not something any of us here will do, but if you needed to hide a body, who are the 3 people you would call? Those are your body barriers. So they will take your secret to the grave.
Got it.
So yeah, I had my body barriers, but I didn't want to burden them with what was happening for me. So there would be times I'd be like, oh, it's getting on my nerves, but I wouldn't really tell them anything. But a lot of it was embarrassment. I was kind of like the friend who had it all together. I was the level-headed one. I was, the one who they would come to say, Rachel, I need help. And I would help them. And it's like, how do I now go and tell them that I'm living in this kind of a situation? So I didn't really tell them what was happening, but they knew things weren't great. But I guess things weren't great for many people. We always have ups and downs. So they didn't think it was any worse than theirs. But in terms of support, when I really wanted to get out, I have one of my brothers, he was one of the first people that I spoke to, and another friend of mine. And it was just like, right, I'm getting out. And I knew that if I ever needed them, it didn't matter what time of day, it didn't matter when it was, they would come. Fortunately, I didn't need it, but when I needed that support and needed somebody to speak to when I was coming out, they were there. But in terms of support as well, I would say one of the things that I did, I knew that coming out of there and being in that situation for nearly 20 years, I knew that I was going to be messed up. There was no way I couldn't have been messed up. Trust, I was suffering from anxiety, stress, sleep deprivation, all sorts. And I knew that I needed counseling. What I didn't know was that I would need it so soon. So when I said, right, I'm done, I thought, okay, by the time he moves out, I'll do it then. But he wasn't going anywhere. Life was sweet, and he made it clear. And so I did the counseling a lot earlier, and that helped me get my head straight.
Another thing, we're going to be wrapping up soon. So I know for me, breaking the silence, I know it was very hard, very, very hard for me, because as you know, I am a victim, I'm a survivor, a matter of fact, of domestic abuse. And it was very hard. I wrestled every day in sharing my story on Facebook. I remember the first time I shared my story, I was trembling, my heart was racing. Yeah. Tell us, was it difficult for you to break your silence and tell your family and friends and, what's going on with you?
It was, because I didn't want the sympathy. I didn't want anybody to look at me as if I was weak. And I knew that in order to go through that, I had to be some type of strong. It's just that my resolve was weakened during that period. The first time actually that I told my story to a few people was when we met in New York, Hermelin. That was the first time I actually told my story last year. I still sometimes now. Wow. That was the first time I spoke about
That's the first time you spoke about your story? Oh my God. And you said it with such I wouldn't even believe that was the first time you shared your story when we met last year. Oh, wow.
That was the first time. And I felt safe because I was thousands of miles away in New York.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But now it's like I mean, it was 19 years, so we could sit here for months and there'll be so much I could tell you. So I choose the bits that are relevant. And I also have to take note that there's other people involved in the story, and, but it took a lot, but I just thought if I keep my mouth shut, there's somebody else out there who needs to hear it, who needs that help, and I'm not giving it to them.
Right. So lastly, just share with the audience, how can we support domestic violence survivors? How can we show up for them? How can we support them after they leave that toxic relationship?
I think one of the main things to do is listen. Sometimes people are so quick to give advice, and you cannot make somebody leave until they are ready, you know, if they're in it. And when they're out, you can't push the healing process along quicker than it needs to. When I went for counseling, you know, they were talking to me about the grief cycle, and I realized that I went through a lot of my grieving whilst in the relationship. Some people go through it when they come out, but when I was out, I'd gone through the majority of it whilst in. I'd already resolved myself that this was never going to get any better. I needed to go. And so I think the listening and being there to help when they need you, because they will need that shoulder to cry on, you know, they will need somebody to just listen, I think, is the main thing, and be there when needed.
Wow. And we see where Dane Henry says, Rachel, you have her testimony. She did not tell anybody. She was the go-to for her friends and family.
Yeah.
And so she was embarrassed. Sounds familiar. And Rick Phillips says, sometimes you're so embarrassed you don't want to disclose your abuse to anyone. And when you do, it's too late. I can say domestic violence in the Caribbean is kind of like that. We put it under the rug, or we go talk to the pastor, and we stay in these relationships for years without leaving, because for whatever reason, we can't leave because of financial obligations or whatever the other reason is. Rachel, anything else you want to share with the audience, with some of the men and women that are watching, that are commenting on your story today?
I think just know that you're not alone. I'm always blown away by how many people have gone through this, and the sharing your story is an important one. I think the more that we can speak up about it is the more that we can start to quell it. There's so many women who are victims, but many of us don't know men who are perpetrators. So you can't be a victim alone. We need to speak out about it and pull up on men who are doing it. And we're quick to say, you know, the women need to leave, but no, you know, they should leave, but the men also need to stop. So, or, you know, and vice versa. It doesn't mean that only men are abusers, but whoever is perpetrating, you know, they need to be pulled up as well. So there needs to be a lot of talking to be done.
All right.
Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you, Rachel, for sharing your story with us.
Me.
Thank you for staying up and talking to us. Thank you. We appreciate you being here. Thank you very much. So, ladies, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back with a wrap-up. Caribbean Boss Babe, who is next?
Do you emoji? I'm talking to you. Yes, you. Do you emoji? You should. Emoji, a brand new social media platform where you can social your way. With a simple and quick way to engage, meet new friends, and social the way you just love to. No annoying blocking or censorship. Check out emoji.com from your mobile or desktop PC. Emoji.com. Do you emoji? Well, you should. Log in now. Emoji.com. Do you emoji?
Emoji.com. Log in, sign up, and emoji.
And ladies, just before we go into the Caribbean Boss Babe, we wanna let you know we have 5 tips, exit strategy for leaving a toxic relationship, and we do have resources there. It will be posted, okay, and you can take a screenshot of that. You can save it somewhere, and we do have resources that you can call in case you need any housing, legal help, and such like that.
I love number 4, Hermelyn, and I credit you for creating this. I love, because I tell clients all the time, especially when I work with victims that are undocumented, they don't have any papers. I tell them all the time. Back in the day, we used to say, photocopy everything and mail it to a good friend.
Yes.
Put it in the mail and have your good friend sit on all those documents for you. So I love what you did with this checklist, especially number 4, make copies of all important document and save it on iCloud. I love it, love it, love it. Kudos for creating that.
Funde, this one was for you, because when I was doing my adjustment, I had saved everything and I hid it. And I remember my lawyer saying I was one of the best candidates he had in 20 years, because everything they asked me for, I had it. So when I thought about that, I was thinking about you, like, Don't give Funday too much work to do trying to get those documents. Get the document. Get it now and save it because you will need it later. So guys, just for wrapping up sake, let me tell you, so Caribbean Boss Babe is next, but let me tell you who can be a Caribbean Boss Babe. A Caribbean Boss Babe is a woman of Caribbean heritage who has a product, service, or a nonprofit. She is involved in her community. She's an influencer, or she empowers women on her platform. Men too, but women on her platform. So now I'm going to turn it over to Landy so she could present us with her Caribbean Boss Babe this week.
So, my Caribbean Boss Babe, her name is Melissa Duarica. She is a primary school teacher from Trinidad, and she's a mom of 3. So this is what she did, and this is a story that I just kind of bumped into as I was scanning through Facebook or the news or something. But what she has done is she has taken a proactive approach to making a real change in her community. So this is what she did. She decided that, she's a teacher and all that, and many of the students in Trinidad are now doing a lot of online learning. And what has been becoming a problem is that not all the students have the right tools. They don't have smartphones or computers or iPads and things so that they can do their work from home properly. There's a gap. So she said, being the teacher that she is, that she was going to sell soup. So she set up a day about 2 weeks ago. She set up a day and she sold chicken foot, cow foot, and what other kind of foot? Cow foot, chicken foot, and pigtail soup in her community. She sold her soup for $30 if you wanted one meat, and if you wanted other meat, it was $40. And what she did is the money was, the goal was to get this money so that she can buy additional iPads for students who didn't have them. Because right now, this has become a huge problem because before having internet services and Wi-Fi and things like that, that was like a luxury. You could have it or you could still get by without having it. But now that schooling has become an issue where most students are doing work at home, it's become a necessity. So I don't know what the government is doing in Trinidad. Maybe they have other things or other drives to allow more children to have the ability to log on. But this woman, my Caribbean Boss Babe, took the initiative and she set up something so that she could make a difference in her community right now. So for those of you who want to support this beautiful teacher from Trinidad, you can support her by reaching out to her at 868-775-5193. The phone number will be listed in the chat if you're interested in reaching out to support, help, congratulate, give her support in any kind of way.
And that's our Caribbean Boss Babe, Melissa.
Yes,
Duarica. That is Duarica. That's a boss babe. That's a boss babe.
That's a boss babe. So ladies, we want to thank you guys for today. I mean, we don't have any details yet. We heard that Mr. Trump have left the hospital to greet his supporters and voters. So is it a hoax or is this real? So we say
roll it away. Roll it away. What did you say? Roll it away.
Yes. So we don't know. So anyway, that is too funny.
Roll it away.
Yeah. So thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for sharing your opinion. Thank you, audience, for chiming in this week. We appreciate you. And thank you for tuning in to Top 5 at 5.
And thank you to Valerie Phillip. She made some good comments, and Mavis Joseph too.
Yeah.
We had some really good guests today, some really good comments. And I know we're ending, but I want to acknowledge all the survivors of breast cancer.
Yeah.
This is Breast Cancer Awareness Month as well. So we really want to acknowledge all our survivors that are watching and those that are in virtual land.
Guys, and go sign up. It's free to do the cancer walks. There's cancer walks happening all over New York. You can always go sign up. You can go that same day and sign up and do the cancer walk.
Yes, and a lot of donations.
just be aware that the color of domestic violence is purple. So we were representing today.
Yes.
Yes, my skin color is blue.
Happy fingers.
And breast cancer is pink. I try to have a little pink.
Yeah, we're doing a little bit of everything.
Yes.
I think we need some music to dance.
Music, yes.
Any music today or no
please.
music?
We need some music to bring us
And
out.
I must say, I just saw that my brother in Jamaica was watching. I am so happy, Mr. Bumpy Winter, Rowan Winter. Thank you for watching. I know it's your Sabbath, and I just saw him over there watching, and all my friends that watch and support over on my page. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
Top 5 at 5. Educating. Empowering. Entertaining. We are the top 5.